Well, a lot of the members are going into a breakout session, which means it's going to be easier to hear our next guest as we make a switch in the chair. And we're joined now by another friend, I feel like a high school reunion, Dean James. He's the CEO of IMGG, stock symbols IMGG. You're here too. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me, Don.
Well, it's just amazing. We were just talking to Brian Altooni a minute ago, and we have some great friends with MoneyTV. You're at a juncture with IMGG, and we talked about this on the show last week back in Hollywood, where you're just kind of waiting for this FDA approval that we thought might have happened in November. They came back with some additional comments. But you said something very interesting last week, that you really felt that it had a lot to do with an administration change at the FDA, and that people were just really trying to cover their bases and make sure that they've asked all the right questions and done everything. You want to kind of elaborate on that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, when we were discussing that is that there's been a new management at the Center for Devices of Radiological Health, the CDRH. New management, new reviewer. I think that they didn't really want to rubber stamp an approval of a device that was reviewed by the outgoing management. So I think they wanted to give it a good review and go through it. And the questions that they had were some cleanup minor issues, and there were some as far as getting, some radiologists reviewing some imagery. Again, I think they had their own radiologists, but they just wanted to take, a little bit of put more effort on me and take, make sure that they were doing a better review for the process, to have, some backup material, that they actually took a look at this, that they just weren't rubber stamping it. And I think, from a management perspective, you don't want to rubber stamp someone else's review. So, we're going through that. We're going to have the response, filed here relatively soon, within a couple weeks, and we feel pretty confident that we're going to be able to get this thing through.
Now, of course, you have a lot of experience in doing this. You've actually had 4 successful FDA approvals on previous devices, so you know how the process works. Do you envision any more speed bumps in the road, as it were?
Well, you never can tell. I mean, this is by far the longest, probably 3 times as long as a normal 510K has been for me in the past. I've even helped, my previous submissions, I've helped, when I worked for Toshiba, help getting them through, that were stalled. And it's just, they're a government agency. They're going to have their problems, their dilemmas. They're going to have their issues. It's a new management group. But I think, like I said, from the amount of questions and the type of questions, I think we're really going to be able to get through this fairly smoothly.
Well, I guess that's what you just said is kind of key to what my line of questioning is. I mean, you can tell from the questions at basically what stage of completion they're at, I would imagine.
Right. It wasn't like that they looked at it, from day one. They did have a fresher look at it because, obviously it's a different reviewer, a different manager reviewing the reviewer's work. So, it's a different perspective, but the perspective seemed to be on the same timeline, going towards approval. Though I expected this to be a sign-off, I think we're at that final stage. We're getting to the end of this road, this path, but it's with new people.
Now, we're here at a trade show. Of course, this is a financial trade show. You were at a radiological show back in Chicago around Thanksgiving time. And I know that you have a lot of pent-up demand for Dominion devices once FDA approval is obtained. Let's just say this takes another 5 or 6 weeks or whatever the case may be. I've mentioned, hypothetically, if it happened March 1st, how quickly could you be in production?
Well, like we had mentioned, we haven't been sitting idly by or sitting on our hands. We've been, as we've been waiting for this process to get approved, we've been ramping up things for finding financing, having overseas partners set up to where we could run right into manufacturing. And of course, we've been at our trade shows, Radiological Society of North America. We've been there for about 4 years now. So we've got a lot of leads and following that we've built, as we've been trying to get this product to the marketplace. So we're in a great place. We have demand, and we will be able to meet that demand via the manufacturing basis that we've been working on.
So even though there's been a 2 or 3 month delay, your sold accounts are happy to wait because they like the product.
Oh, absolutely. And even the original equipment manufacturers that are looking to maybe partner with us, they're happy to wait. They look at this as the final stage of getting this product to be viable for the marketplace. So of course they'll wait.
Now, we've seen a lot of activity in your company's stock, especially in fourth quarter of last year. It was a meteoric rise, really, what we saw. For people who became shareholders of Imaging 3 in the last several months, have you got anything you want to say to them?
Well, patience. Our story isn't over. The best is yet to come. We'll get FDA approval, and it'll happen relatively soon. And we're going to go, into full production. And then we've been talking to most of these major, equipment manufacturers. I don't want to name names, but you can pick a few names out of the hat. And we've been talking to them, for years, and they've been following us, and they really are interested in our company. So good things are going to happen for this company. And yes, we're excited that we had that run, that meteoric, that rise that just, from 4 cents to $1.95. It was great. But that's not our story. That's not the end of our story.
Okay. Once again, Imaging 3, stock symbol IMGG. If you'd like to see some remarkable images of the Dominion device does, go to their website, imaging3.com. That's imaging, the number 3.com. Dean, glad to see you here.
Thanks for having me, Don.
Thanks, sir.